The worst thing that can happen to you in the Call of Duty video game is that you land your helicopter to pick up an airdrop, and some son of a bitch steals your helicopter. Now, you might have taken a lot of shots at this guy, taking him out. He might have threw down a smoke bomb and just disappeared into the background. So you make your way. What's up, dude? Hey. Kitty cat's here. So I began to fire at the helicopter, and successfully. Helicopter was taking heavy damage. Then you know what? Son of a bitch. Third party motherfucker comes out of the blue and just shoots me in the head. You see, I'm trying to take down a helicopter. Why not try to take out the helicopter? Why capitalize on me? Such low level fucking skills. When I play single player, not on a team, I want to team up with other people in the game, which shouldn't be allowed because you got to trust that person. And that environment is not prepared for that. I mean, if you went in there and two of you were outside players and you somehow were able to come into the game and be opponents, you could team up and do some shit like that. And I don't know if that's allowed or not. There's been a lot of games that I play. Oh, that's a yellow bird. It was a canary. I've never seen a canary. I've never seen a yellow bird. I see this kitty cat's tail. The old kitty cat tail. Just a happy old cat. He's happy to have some humans that put up with his shit and scratch him and give him rubs. Right. And gives him rubs. He likes having rubs. And getting rubs on his head. Another thing that happened to me when I was in the tank, someone began to shoot me with rockets. And I was taking heavy damage. So I jump out of my tank. And you know what happened? You want to know what happened? The tank blew up and killed me. Yeah. It blew up and it killed me. I died. I lost my life. I'm going to give you some food now. Because I know you want it. It's a little early. I bought some chicken today. Clearly. Because I'd already made that video. Who knows who will watch it. I did have some things I wanted to say about life and such. Perhaps I'll say them like this. I'll speak them from this weird net. How about that? It's real difficult not to be antisocial in the environment that we're currently all faced. If you're having to deal with people from a day-to-day basis, like a lot of different people, maybe not. But my interacting with people just constitutes of my dad. And the reason why I don't like to drive, or don't find myself so compelled to do it, driving tends to lead to my arrest. I've connected that dot. It doesn't always happen. And it's not like I'm just committing crimes. But once, they seem to like to pull me over. It happens quite a bit. Whether I'm doing anything wrong or not, I still get pulled over. Every once in a while. Because they're pulling people over. That's their job. That's what they do. They get behind you and they start looking up your license plate. They're gonna maybe want to pull you over and give you some bullshit reason. And they do it. They do it. They know all the bullshit reasons they can use, and they'll use them or they won't. Now, you can be combative with the cop and end up dead, or just do what you know to survive. And I did have a weird experience that sort of, let me tell you what happened. This experience tuned me for all my future police experiences, and they have. Now, what happened was, I was at the border. I was at the Red River, and I was down there with a friend of mine. We were smoking that fake weed because at the time, for some reason, we bought it at some head shop located in a town that we liked to go to because it had stuff over there that we liked. Places to eat, women, you know. And so I'm underneath. I've got my car parked under the bridge, which there was places to park. And I'm in the river. Me and dude went and we smoked some of that shit, and I'm just playing in the river and he's playing in the sand. You know, it's kind of like, it's like being at the beach, except having instead of having the ocean to go out to, you have this river cutting through all this sand. That's really what the Red River is. It's not a very thick, not a very deep river at all. At least not there. And bunch of sandbars that continually shift. And this river basically stirring it up. And it does make it look red. Kinda. A lot of alligator guards in there. People would fish and they would come and leave the skeleton. Them motherfuckers was big. There were some big ass alligator skeletons under that bridge. But they don't mess with people. Now I'm in the Red River. I've got 2 machetes because you know, the river. Shit. I didn't want to get snake bit or some shit. I like to have a machete as I go. It wasn't like I was cutting my way through the brush and brambles. I already had that experience. I had that experience, and this spirit entity took every bit of metal thing I had on me away. It was gone. My phone was gone. My wallet was gone. My keys were gone. It was all gone. And I was like, what the fuck? And as I'm looking for them, he made them all reappear. They reappeared in a pile. And it was a puck wedgie. That's what he said. That's a different experience. I'll tell you about that another time. So, this time, I'm out there and I'm swimming using the 2 machetes. I'm diving under the water because there was enough water to swim in. And I'm swimming around. I'm in the river. I'm playing in the river. Now, on the other side of the river, there's a bridge over it. That's where you get off because that's Highway 35. And on this side of the river where there's the bank, on the other side of, like, under the bridge, the Oklahoma side, there was a guy, and he was pointing at me and doing all kinds of shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I swam over there and I introduced myself. You know, I popped out of the water like a dolphin, like just popped out of there, and I got the 2 machetes. And I introduced myself, and he's like, I got somebody stealing my cattle. I'm like, well, sir, I'm in the river. I'm not stealing any cattle. I'm swimming in this here river. Not really set up to steal no cattle. Wouldn't know what to do with them. Not really worried about that, but I'll keep an eye out for you. And he was all freaked out. Like, he was all scared, and he had a gun. I'm like, sir, why are you acting scared? You're the one with the gun. I'm in the river. Just because you're missing cattle and see me doesn't mean that I had anything to do with stealing your cattle. I'm a construction worker. I'm spending time at this here river on the weekend while I'm off, fella. And when I got out, so I swam back to the Texas side, and he had called the cops. He had the cops coming. So as I'm walking up. My friend's already up there talking to the cops. And I take the 2 machetes and I do this number. I put my arms out with the machetes, showing them, and I let them go, like, to the side. So everything was cool. Everything was, like, spot on, perfect. They were laughing. They thought it was funny. You know, what was I doing here? I was like, swimming in the river. And then, you know, we were not doing anything to be in trouble. So they were like, well, we'll call the DPS guy. And they had the DPS guy come. They said, we don't know what to do, really, if there's something we need to do or not. So we're going to call the DPS and let them whatever. And then the DPS guy came. And I wanted to get my bag from below. Now, I didn't have a driver's license, so I wasn't going to be driving away in my car with them watching me. Well, I did have a driver's license, but it wasn't valid. So I was going to have my buddy was going to drive us away after we left, I guess was our plan. I don't think we got to discuss it, but, you know, that's what we'd come up with I don't know. And I wanted to get this bag that I had from down there. We went and got the bag. He wants to search the bag. So fine, search the bag. He finds the fake weed in the bag. And he's like, what's this? It's like, well, this is fake weed. It's not weed. It's some shit they sell at the store. He's like, do you smoke this? I was like, well, you know what? I think I'm going to take the 5th on that because I don't know. I don't know then what you would say. He's like, well, if you take the 5th on it, then I've got to arrest you. Because now they made it illegal. And they did. They made it illegal. So I went to jail. And I was perfectly calm. He was polite. I was polite. And I was in jail for 4 days. They let me out in the middle of the night, barefooted. I had to walk back and get my job back and get my room back at the hotel, which I did. So the moral of that story is that's how you can have your settings for how to deal with the cops. Because my body, my self-preservation body, and the fact that I was performing rituals on the border of the state, which is also a natural border because it's the water, it's a perfect place to set yourself up for your responses to not get you in a wreck.